Okay, my name is Henry Stahl. I am the director of Full Spectrum Warrior. I'm going to walk you through Mission 5 right now to give you an idea of what Full Spectrum Warrior is going to be about when you buy it in 2 weeks, hopefully. Full Spectrum Warrior is a tactical action game. It plays very similar to an RTS or an RPG, but it has a lot of things in common with a pure action or a shooter. The game, you are responsible for 2 fire teams, Alpha and Bravo team, and you are their squad leader. What you're seeing right now is this is my Alpha team, and that's my Alpha team leader right there, Sergeant Menendez. Over here is my Bravo team. My Bravo team leader is Sergeant Williams. They're actually down low on ammo right here. I kind of started at a bad time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check and see where I'm at. I'm going to pull out my GPS. This will tell me where I am, what my objectives are. It's also indicating some enemies that are active. So I'm going to see if I can move southeast here to that Kazovac location. Full Spectrum Warrior is all about fire and movement tactics based on Army doctrine. The game started out 4 years ago as an Army training aid, and we learned a lot about how the Army operates, how a light infantry squad operates in urban combat. And we tried to incorporate that into the retail game as much as possible. And what we ended up with was, a really unique kind of game experience that's about as authentic as you're going to get with regards to how the Army actually operates in a war zone. There really isn't anything, oh, I'm under RPG fire here. There really isn't anything like it on the market right now. So in order to get that team out, I'm going to have to put fire on this RPG guy. Now the reason, I'm in trouble. Okay, the reason I put fire on that RPG guy is I want to put his head down. And that X is telling me that he's under so much fire that he can't return fire, which is going to allow me to now move this team, who's low on ammo, out of the combat situation into what we call a Kazovac, where I can get new ammunition and supplies. So, since the Army game, we've incorporated a lot of new features. In fact, there's about 75% new code base in the game. And most of that was done in an effort to make the game more, more like a game. The original game had a lot of simulation in it. And what that basically meant was that you could do the right thing and still have your men die, because that's the real world. And bullets ricochet off walls, they ricochet off the ground. So we abstracted a lot of those systems so that the game plays in a more rules-based fashion. So if you fail, you know why you failed. And if you succeed, you know why you succeed. So the more you play, the more you'll learn how to play, and the better you'll get at the game. Let me move these guys back here and get some ammunition. Since we've also, over the last year, included an Xbox Live component, and over Xbox Live, you can play the entire game online from start to finish, cooperatively with a buddy. So one player would control Bravo team, and the other player would control Alpha team. And it plays from start to finish exactly the same. So you would start the game, all the save points are the same, all the cinematics are the same, and because the game's live aware, and because of the way we set up the cooperative mission, you can play through the entire game, and whether you're playing online or with a friend is really irrelevant. I can play mission 1 and 2 by myself, and the game is live aware, so the game would tell me when my friend came online, and he would send me a message and say, hey, I want to join. I would go into the pause menu and say, come on in, and then we would just keep playing from where I am, and then we could play mission 3, 4, 5, and he would leave, and then I could just keep playing by myself, mission 6, 7, 8, and just keep going in that fashion. So you really don't have to stop the game and restart it again to play cooperatively. You just keep playing, and people come and go as they please. And what we were trying to do there was really blur the lines between playing online and playing individually. So what I'm going to try and do is, my objective here is to move up the street. I'm coming under fire. Move up the street west to meet up with Lieutenant Phillips, but I have an entrenched RPG nest up here, and that shield is indicating that I can't hit him. And that's part of what we've added to the retail game, is this new HUD system, which gives me information about what's going on in the world. In the Army game, there's absolutely no HUD at all. It's just the cursors, and you get your information from what your soldiers are telling you. So these shieldings are giving me, as the player, an idea that my soldiers are okay, they're undercover, so I can take this team now and maneuver them up the street. I'm actually going to move them up into this position here. And I'm allowed to do that again because this team is firing at that RPG enemy. They're going to move past. And I'm going to switch right up to that team. You notice if the camera flies, it doesn't cut. Stylistically, we really tried to go for an embedded reporter feel or a documentary movie kind of feel. So we do a lot of things with shutter speeds and aspect ratios, frame rates to give it that kind of gritty, embedded reporter look that we were going for. So now that I have my other team firing at the enemy, I'm free to have this team move up behind them. Now when this team moves into position, I'm just thinking out loud in terms of my tactics. I'm going to have them engage the enemy from this position. We're waiting for a guy to show up. There's my automatic rifleman. And now that they're set up, I can move this team back into the alley, moving behind the other soldiers, this team supporting the other one. And that's just a classic Army maneuver, suppress, maneuver. And now I can move this team past. And now I've safely gotten both teams past that entrenched RPG, and I'm continuing ahead on my objective. In terms of feel, the game feels a lot like an RTS game in only that it's driven by cursor systems, but there's no resource management, there's no base building, things like that. It's a lot more fast-paced, it's not turn-based at all. So that's Full Spectrum Warrior, and it'll be out in 2 weeks domestically. It'll be out end of June in the UK, and there'll be a PC SKU in September. Thanks a lot.